So now, get this, my last video was about clapping for the NHS and I thought it was juvenile, asinine, not really worth anything, not really doing anything, especially as we're a nation that's very Tory. Now Boris is in intensive care. Now that he's ill, there's a little movement going around social media. I don't know whether it's going to pick up enough traction, whether it's going to actually become a national thing. Clap for Boris. Lean out your windows and clap and hope that Boris gets better. If that happens, I will actively lean out my window and boo for Boris. And I live in a Tory area. I will actively boo. That man has done nothing worthy of being clapped. Thousands of people have got the coronavirus. Thousands of people died of the coronavirus. And we have to boo and clap and cheer for Boris. Why? He failed to act on the coronavirus completely. Completely failed to act on the coronavirus. Sat on his arse for 3 weeks. Got no ventilators, no PPE for frontline staff. His strategy was herd immunity. His top advisor said if some pensioners died, then so be it. Boris basically said hundreds of thousands of us will have to die. And we're clapping for this man. No. I know there's a lot of people out there probably watching this video right now thinking, making some horrible comments about a man who's sick. Couldn't give a fuck if he's sick or not. To quote my life's role model, Lemmy, or to paraphrase my life's role model, Lemmy, all this talk, don't talk bad about the sick. People don't stop being arseholes when they're sick, they're just sick arseholes. So Lemmy once said that all this don't talk ill of the dead is nonsense. People don't stop being arseholes if they're dead, they're just dead arseholes. I quite like that phrase because it doesn't, being ill doesn't immune you to, or make you immune to criticism. And honestly, I don't wish ill on Boris. I don't think he should die. I don't believe that he should not get better. I don't think he should suffer. I just don't care that he's suffering as it is. I wouldn't wish it on him. I wouldn't go up, if I caught coronavirus, I wouldn't seek him out to cough on him and give it to him. I just don't really care. Because 140,000 people have died over the last 10 years of austerity measures, of being told they can work when they weren't, and then shortly committing suicide after, or dying of aggravated health conditions. That in some cases the coroners actually said that being asked to prove they could live and work in the UK, or being asked to prove that they had the right to benefits, contributed to their deaths. Pregnant women froze to death in doorways in Tory Britain. People like my own son, who's sitting right over there, he is autistic. His funding, he will get no additional funding to support his autism by 2023. Now, I'm quite lucky in that my son, his autism isn't severe enough to warrant any extensive help. He still needs a little bit, but others aren't. There are people out there who have severe learning difficulties, the mentality of children, who were sanctioned for turning up a few minutes late to their interview for their benefits. All this and more under Boris's rule and his predecessors under the Tory governments. Boris was one of the MPs who voted against the pay rise for nurses and cheered when it went his way. I watched that live on TV. I watched it happen. He cheered when nurses didn't get a pay rise. Well, now I hope that he's sick, and severely hope that he will come out the other side. I severely hope he gets better. Honestly, I do, because I think he should stand trial. I hope he comes out the other side, and I hope he realises just how much work the nurses do and how much they deserve. And I hope that he pushes through a pay rise for the nurses and all NHS staff and all key workers, everybody holding up the country right now. I hope he pushes through a pay rise for them, a substantial pay rise, and he cheers when that goes through. So hopefully now, being under the care of NHS workers and the nurses and the doctors, hopefully now he realises how much they're worth, and that they were getting a shit deal before when he voted down a motion to give them a pay rise and cheered. You can find the list of every MP who voted against that pay rise online. Boris Johnson's on it. So I sincerely hope he comes out of this fit and well, because the alternatives to Prime Minister are horrendous. Dominic Raab, Jacob Rees-Mogg. I'd rather have Boris. I sincerely hope he comes out better. Sincerely hope he comes out well. And I hope that he realises after this that NHS workers are not to be treated like shit. You are not to vote down a pay rise for them without due cause, without good reason, And the reason that Labour put forward the motion to give them a pay rise in the first place was because nurses were using food banks. If that's not a reason to give someone a pay rise, I don't know what is. So I sincerely hope he comes out and he realises these nurses, these doctors, these, cardiologists, everyone else who works in the NHS have got a bad deal. My wife works in the NHS. She makes less money than I do. I work in a supermarket. So the NHS workers are getting a bad deal. A very bad deal. And I hope Boris notices that. All key workers are getting a very bad deal. I hope Boris realises that and he comes out and he puts into motion some actions to give key workers a pay rise, to give them decent working conditions, and he cheers when they go through. Maybe then I'll get an ounce of respect for the man. Maybe then, next time he's ill, I'll show a bit of concern. But as it stands, I'm not really concerned. I'm not bothered. It doesn't bother me at all. I don't feel any sympathy for the man, any empathy at all. Nah, not at all. Because he's spent the last 10 years, and his predecessors, Theresa May and David Cameron, have spent the last decade savagely cutting from the poorest, from the most vulnerable, including my own son. And that was the moment I drew the line. I could forgive being a Tory up until the last election. And then if you're on my personal Facebook, you'll know that I actually told anybody who voted Tory, shortly after the election result came out, told anybody who voted Tory to fuck off from my page and get out of my life. And I lost a few mates from that. But I don't regret it at all. Do not regret it. Because that to me was a personal attack. That was a personal insult that people voted for that party. By 2023, there will be no additional funding for autism and special needs. So, rant over. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in a few days. Hopefully Boris comes out of this, because I don't like the look of any of the prospective replacements for him. And I want to see him stand trial. So thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.